In June 1947, a pilot spotted 9 strange objects streaking across the sky near Mount Rainier. He described them as moving like saucers skipping across water. Within days, the term flying saucer swept across America, igniting a national obsession. But deep inside a guarded facility in Canada, engineers were building something straight out of science fiction, a real flying saucer. Designed to hover, accelerate in any direction, and reach supersonic speeds. If it had worked, it could have changed aviation forever. By the 1950s, the Cold War had created a troubling reality. Jet aircraft needed thousands of feet of concrete runway. NATO air bases were large, fixed targets. In a conflict with the Soviets, runways would be destroyed in the opening hours. Entire air forces could be rendered useless within minutes. But what if jets didn't need runways at all? What if they could take off vertically, hidden in forests or stationed on highways? British engineer John Frost thought he had the answer. After working on cutting-edge jets in England, Frost joined Avro Canada in 1947. He became convinced that shape mattered more than power, and he envisioned something radical, a disc. In 1952, Avro gave Frost the go-ahead. He assembled a secret team called the Special Projects Group in a heavily guarded building with locked doors and special passes. Frost's design exploited something called the Coanda effect, the tendency of a fluid jet to cling to a curved surface. Jet exhaust directed along the rim of the disc could generate both lift and thrust simultaneously. A central fan called a turbo rotor would blast air downward, creating a cushion for the craft to float on. In forward flight, thrust would redirect rearward. When American defense officials saw the concept in 1953, the U.S. Air Force agreed to fund it. Their goal was ambitious, a supersonic interceptor capable of Mach 3.5 and altitudes of 100,000 feet. But developing the propulsion system proved dangerous. Test rigs caught fire. Engines ran out of control. Engineers grew afraid of the experimental machinery. So Frost proposed a smaller proof-of-concept vehicle, the Avrocar, an aluminum disc 18 feet in diameter and just 3.5 feet thick, powered by 3 jet engines driving a 124-blade central fan. The U.S. Army also took interest, seeing potential for a flying jeep that could hover over any terrain. 2 prototypes were built for $2 million, but almost immediately problems emerged. During the first hover tests, the Avrocar began oscillating violently, bouncing each wheel off the ground in turn. Engineers called it hubcapping. Close to the ground, trapped air provided stability, but above 3 feet, the air cushion became uneven, escaping unevenly from beneath the craft. The result was unpredictable pitching and rolling that no pilot could control. The Avrocar could barely reach 35 miles per hour. It couldn't rise more than 3 feet without losing control. Wind tunnel tests at NASA confirmed the problem. The center of pressure was too far forward. The disc's shape was inherently unstable. Frost proposed redesigns with wings and larger engines, but Avro Canada was already reeling. The Canadian government had just canceled the CF-105 Aero on what became known as Black Friday. Thousands of engineers lost their jobs. In December 1961, the Avrocar program was canceled after more than $10 million had been spent. Months later, Avro Canada ceased to exist entirely. The 2 prototypes were quietly retired to museums. What doomed the Avrocar wasn't a lack of ambition, it was the limitations of 1950s technology. Modern fly-by-wire systems might have tamed the instability, but those technologies were still decades away. Ironically, the Avrocar was just one rubber skirt away from being one of the world's first hovercraft, and yet it wasn't a complete failure. The concept of a lift fan driven by jet exhaust lives on today in aircraft like the F-35B. For a brief moment, at the height of the flying saucer craze, a team of engineers came tantalizingly close to making the dream real.